Well, let's say welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us for this quick info session on sub-distribution of product. This subject should not be brand new to you. We've been talking about it for just over a year now, and we now have some progress that we've already started to share out, but we want to make it more formal and do an actual info session webinar to get everybody together to hear it all at once. So let's not waste any more time and let's get right into it. All right, what we're going to cover today will be a quick recap on what is sub-distribution of product and really all the questions. Why we're doing it, what do you need to do, who all needs to be doing this, how do you go about doing it, when do we need to do this by, and what happens if you're not compliant. So the quick recap here. Sub-distribution of product is a new requirement within our Feeding America contract. Historically, there's been no sharing of product clause within our partner agreements. However, occasionally sharing of excess food was permitted on a case-by-case basis and always at the discretion of the food bank. This is no longer the case. Feeding America now requires that any program or partner agency that shares or receives excess food bank product must also have an additional agreement. Why are we doing all this? We understand that this is just one more thing and that we already ask a lot of you. This is not outside the realm of understanding for us. We get it. And we also need to do this to remain compliant, as non-compliance potentially threatens our future food sourcing efforts. And that would impact the very core of what we are all trying to do, especially in today's day and age when everything is so, we just don't know, really. That sense of not knowing. So what do you all need to do? What do we need to do? Any partner program or agency, and this includes pantries, mobiles, meal sites, even kids' farmers markets, school food centers, that may share or receive, it's not receiving and sharing now, but the potential to. So may share or receive excess product from and with other sites must sign the sub-distribution addendum, as well as follow the additional food safety protocols. It's your basic food safety protocols with a little extra oomph for safe transportation of product to ensure that time temp abuse of perishable items is not taking place. Who all needs to do this? Well, this applies to all food bank partners. Sub-distributions are only allowed between food bank partners. Any sharing to non-food bank partners is not allowed. You may still receive food from those non-food bank partners, however. It's the sharing to them that won't be permitted. We cannot ensure food safety at any of these non-food bank partners, and that is one of the driving points behind this new requirement, which is why we've decided to reserve this just for food bank partners that can do this. And remember, the other Feeding America requirement for this is that signed agreement. So once we have put this into action, even if another agency is a food bank partner, if they are not on that list and have not signed that addendum, they are also not eligible to share or receive food bank product. Well, how do we go about doing this? So you may ask, how do we ensure that you have signed the addendum allowing the sharing of this product? There's a brief online form to complete. It's gone out in a newsletter, a couple of separate emails, and a weekly digest. I will be putting it back into the upcoming weekly digest on Monday. Complete that form. This puts your program on my to-do list. I will then work through that list and invite you to collaborate to sign the addendum through our grants management site. We will then post this document. It's not only going to be your addendum, it's also going to be your user guide. We will post this document on our website This will double as your agreement as well as the working list of participating and eligible partners. If a program is not on the list, please do not share with them. And again, we will be resharing this link to allow folks to get the process started. When do you need to do this by? We have broken out the due dates by program types. If you are an agency like a pantry or a meal site or even chow, please complete the form by the end of October. School food centers have until the end of November. Mobile food pantries, senior mobile food pantries, and kids farmers markets, we're rolling that and lumping it right in with the renewal at the beginning of 2026. So please feel free to complete the form well before your program's due date. Don't wait on this, just go ahead and do it, and we'll get that ball rolling for you. But we did space it out, so it's a little bit more consumable for staff internally here. We will be enforcing this starting March 1st of 2026, once all of our renewals are in and the start of a new contract period. This allows plenty of time to submit that form and sign the addendum for all of our partners. Now the scary bit, the risk of noncompliance. This requirement comes with a heavy penalty if it's not followed. Any partner found to be sub-distributing without the signed agreement, the site will be immediately suspended. We don't want to do this. We want to continue to help you do the work that you're doing. So please, please, please complete the form, sign the addendum. Even if you don't currently participate in sharing product, just do it and share only with other partners on that approved list. And that's really it. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and open the floor for any questions. Did I stop sharing? Okay. Questions, concerns? I know this has been a year rolling out, so what more can I help clarify?
Amanda, I just want to make sure that I understand properly because I learned this last year. So we are partnered with Walmart. We get our Walmart deliveries, like with the food bank. And we had an excessive amount of candy that they had given to us. If I'm understanding correctly, that means like we cannot, like if I had an excessive amount, it was going to go bad. I cannot give it to anybody else because it came from a partner that we have with the food bank. Is that the correct understanding?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the plan is to get that list really full and long so that you can share it.
Okay.
To build off of your question, if you're receiving food from a retailer, that is not included necessarily as they don't need to be on the list because they're a retail partner. They're not like a partner organization. The question came up about Good Neighbors. They will be on the list. Chow will be on the list. If you receive from a retail partner, you weigh those pounds and you submit those pounds. If you receive from another partner agency, an MFP, Good Neighbors, you do not weigh those pounds. It's already been accounted for. There's a question in the chat. Lindsay, you got it.
It's just, she wants you to reach out to her maybe next week.
Okay. Sure thing, Kelly. What else?
I've got a question. If we, now I'm from Ithaca Kitchen Cupboard. We're housed in the Salvation Army, which does have a contract with 2 retailers. And they get food, they weigh it, then they give us food that they don't use in their programs. Does this count for that? Do we need to be signed up for this program in order to receive that food? Okay.
Yes. Yes, we need to make sure that we know where that product is going. Part of the responsibility of the agency that is sharing is they have to track where that product is going, when it went, and what went. And that is for recall purposes. So if the Salvation Army shares romaine lettuce with Ithaca Kitchen Cupboard, and a recall comes through, but there's no track and no trace of where they shared that product, they're not going to know to share with you that there was a recall for you to communicate to your clients.
Got it.
So we need to create a paper trail for food safety purposes. And I don't see any reason why IKC or the Salvation Army wouldn't sign this. What else?
Amanda, this is Bonnie at Centenary Shenango Street.
Hi,
I
Bonnie.
hi, Amanda. I received from Broom Bounty
Mhm,
prepared meals.
mhm.
Does that mean I have to have this agreement?
You should have this agreement, but
Okay.
you are also a recipient you're a partner of Chow.
Yes.
So no, those products coming from Chow do not necessarily count.
Okay.
It's not necessarily a sharing, you're ordering it. It's not an excess, but you should still be on the list, Bonnie, in
Okay.
case somebody has extra that you might want. I'm thinking Cindy Natoli's on the call. She will never, ever share her dried beans. But in the case that she might, and you wanted some dried beans,
Right.
you would be available for her.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me pick on you, Cindy. Any other questions?
I have some questions. You can hear me okay, Rachel
I
McDonald?
can, Rachel.
Okay, fantastic. So one of my questions is, does this apply to toiletry items that I receive from the food bank? Because sometimes with toiletry items, I get Depends, I get hair dye, which I cannot give to my high school students. I get razors, at Rogaine, and I need to put that somewhere else.
Yes. Any product that's coming from the food bank or being received through
Mhm.
retail donations. Absolutely, because there have been recalls on hair dye. There
Yeah.
have been recalls on different products. Absolutely. So you should be signing this, Rachel, and wherever you're sharing it, because obviously your kiddos don't need that Rogaine. Hopefully they don't. You want to make sure it's getting to someplace that can use it. So you
Yes.
wanna, ideally, in a perfect world, we'd have all of our partners listed on this.
Okay, I have one more question, and this maybe
Sure.
only applies to my situation because I run a satellite program of my high school food center out of Boynton, which is one of our middle schools. Do we need to fill this out every time we share between us?
You have one contract with us.
We do have one contract.
One contract, you're good to go.
Cool, because we do a lot of, oh, you get ground
Mhm.
beef next week and I need it now. And
Yep.
so we do a lot of back and
You
forth.
should have your own internal processes in
We
place.
do.
There's a couple other organizations in our network that do something similar. One is the Y up in Lansing, the YMCA of Ithaca and Tompkins County. Another one is Binghamton University. They each have satellite locations, but it's one account, one agreement. They're ordering for one account and then they're distributing to their satellite locations and they know what's going where. And
Okay,
so anybody that's doing that should have internal processes in place.
thank you. I have one
That's a
more
great
follow-up
question.
question.
Keep it coming.
Sorry.
Mm.
So for, I get things from Friendship Donation Network.
Mhm.
That's an excess. That's not something that I would need this agreement for because I'm a recipient, but I should still have this agreement in place for all of the other reasons. Am I understanding that
Correct.
correctly?
We're going to
Okay.
be working with a Friendship Donation separately, and you may see them on the list at some point so that you can share freely with them. They operate similarly to Good Neighbors out in Broome County.
Mhm.
So stay tuned on that. Kathleen Passetti is working very hard on those two relationships.
Okay, thank you.
And I have a couple questions. Number one, sometimes we have an excess amount of bread
Mhm.
and we may take it next door across the parking lot to our Head Start Center to give to, I need to do this for that, right?
Yeah, so they're not a partner of ours, so we need to figure out a solution for that.
Oh, no, they're not a partner of ours, but it's over there for the parents. So the parents take it.
Are you tracking it? So it's not going, so it's more like a second location as opposed to you're giving it to the Head Start to use.
Like, we're giving,
If,
we do a second location. We take it
okay,
to the Start Center so the parents
understanding.
will have access to the bread.
Okay, understanding. So that's going to follow the same situation that Rachel's in. So that's a second location that you're distributing out of,
Okay,
and you're kind of tracking the best of your abilities. Yes.
yeah, and the other question is, so sometimes other pantries piggyback on.
Mm-hmm.
Is that part of this
Piggyback is completely separate. So that's deliveries that are coming from the food bank. It has nothing to do with sharing of product from pantry to pantry. Good question. I'm gonna look in the chat real quick. I think I answered you, Bev. This is for any product, not just food. And then Zach, is this something that needs to be signed every time you happen to share something to another partner? Wonderful question. The plan for this is a one-time sign of the agreement. And it's going to, there's language in it that it automatically renews each year. What you do have to fill out is if you are sharing where it's a tracking sheet, where you're sending product, what the date is, and what the product is, in case there's a recall. That would be, so your paperwork is, you should not, let me back up. Sharing should not be the rule, it should be the exception. So we should not be sharing all the time. So, but we know what happens. If we're sharing, we need to make sure we are tracking where it's going in case of recall so that we can notify the public that who may have consumed it or have it in their pantries. The official signing of the addendum will be a one-time sign. So there potentially could be a little bit of paperwork if you are sharing fairly regularly. But if this is not something that you typically do, then it's minimal. Thank you for that question, Zach. I see your hand up, Patrick.
Good afternoon. So I want to clarify, we're talking specifically about the word excess.
Mm-hmm.
This is excess, not ordered.
Correct.
Or
Excess.
did I say it that way?
I think it's fair. You could order this
so
product, you could receive it from retail recovery, but it's excess that you cannot safely distribute in a timely manner to make sure that it gets consumed.
Okay, and right. So when I get our child delivery, that's already covered. That's a ordered food off
It is ordered
off the
food.
menu. It's ordered food off the menu. It's
Correct.
not shared. It's ordered food. Ordered, not excess. Okay. Yeah, so food drives and private donations, those are not food bank items.
They're not.
So
Are you reporting the pounds?
if we do, yes. Any food drive or private donation is recorded on what do you call it? Is recorded in partner driven pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
Yeah.
called. So or aside from food drives and private donations, you know, Susie, I'm probably making this scenario up that doesn't even exist, but our next door neighbor, well, it's a food donation, it's a private donation. Somebody that would like give us, oh, hey, I got an extra can of peas in my pantry here, go ahead and give it to somebody. And so we have our food bank food separated from our other food
Okay.
donations. So our food bank food is in the middle of our pantry, and our donated food by any private donor is in a separate shelving space in our pantry.
Okay. I will say
So
that you are unique in that most pantries don't separate where they're getting their product from. So for you, if it makes more sense to not include it, then don't include it. However, most pantries are gonna mix all their product. And so
Okay,
you're not
right.
really, and most of your volunteers aren't necessarily gonna know the source of any product. So a good rule of thumb is just to, if you're sharing excess product, just track where it's going, just for that food safety
We never
purposes.
share, uh, I should say, yeah, I guess I think I could say never. We never share food bank product.
Mm-hmm,
Food bank product only goes to our customers through a pantry intake
mm-hmm,
process, the regular process.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
It, can
And
I be go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and remember, this is not sharing to clients or necessarily the community. This is sharing to another organization who intends to then distribute it or use it in a prepared meal.
That's food bank product though.
Food bank product,
So
retail
if
recovery, stuff that you're ordering from Chow, that is all considered food bank product. So if you are sharing it with, let's say, Open Door Mission, you should be tracking that.
Hmm,
And it's tracking it for food safety purposes only, for food recall. All right.
yeah, right, right.
Mhm. Okay, there's a couple more questions in the chat. The tracking of items shared between partners, is that documented and kept at the pantries? Yes, there is a document on our website that was also shared out with this notification to sign up. I will make sure that that gets sent back out. It's just a Word doc that you can either, actually it's a PDF, so you can keep it on the computer and fill it out, or print it and write it up. Store it where you're keeping your attestations, if you're doing the paper attestations, where you're keeping your invoices that are signed with each delivery. Keep it right there with all of that stuff, because when your coordinator comes out to do a site visit, they're going to be asking for it. And then, would this count for fresh produce that is no longer consumable for our clients to be given to local farmers for livestock? That is going in the trash. That is not going to be intended for redistribution to humans. So that does not count. So if you're sending it to a pig farmer because it's no longer food, it does not count. Good questions. Sarah, did you have a question?
I
Sarah
do.
Brainerd?
Yep, a couple. So our backpack program is elementary and middle school is done through the food bank, but it's not, the high school is not. I don't know why, just that way. And we supply the food for the backpack program from our food pantry. It's not food bank food. It is money. It's food that we purchase out of our own, budget. Do I have to track that?
No,
Okay, so
you
that's
don't. However, because that's like an internal thing and you're using your own funds, you should keep track of what product is going in case of a recall.
okay. Okay.
That's just a best practice.
That's just a best practice. Okay, great. I also work with many local farmers along with FDN who donate vegetables to us, throughout the season.
Yep.
I'll be forthright. I don't track it. If you'd like me to, I can start, but I've worked with a couple of them that bring me stuff, and I have moved vegetables that I couldn't give away at a distribution to our local library, who does a community giveaway that Tuesday. We distribute on a Monday, the Tuesday. So is that where I'd have to have a partnership agreement, or is that kind of a murky area? I've just done it because I don't want the food to go to waste, and I work for that program as well. So I literally just walk it across the street and distribute it 24 hours later.
I think that's a little bit separate, because you're also not sending those pounds to us. It's not,
Correct.
you are a community partner, and so I would not worry necessarily about those pounds.
Okay, so I don't need to, so then this type of conversation where I'm sharing our food out, not food bank food, but food that we're receiving either through our own budget or through the community, I don't need to track for you guys or be concerned.
I
with
wouldn't,
this
I think you should still sign the agreement, the addendum, in case somebody has excess that can share
with us.
with you Or if
Okay.
something comes up and you do have excess that you do want to share,
Okay.
that is not going to be workable for the other locations. And since the library is not one of our partners, that would not be an eligible source. But the school district is.
So I do need to do it with the library or I don't? I guess I'm not sure I understand that.
If it's more than just the local produce.
It's not. I'm only doing it just produce because that's what we give out through T-Bird Harvest is produce. So,
Mhm.
okay. All right. Thank
No
you.
worries.
Okay.
Let's see the chat. We get food from Aldi's. If that is the food that is being shared with the partner, do we need to track that? Yes, please. You should be tracking that because that is received food that we're also getting the pounds for, and it is considered food bank food. And it is eligible for any of those recalls. So if you're sharing excess Aldi groceries, just note where it's going, who, what it is, and when. So if you do get that recall notification, you can reach out to that agency and let them know.
Amanda,
Yes, Patrick.
yeah, I apologize. I am
Oh,
listening,
no
by the way.
apologies. This is
I'm,
a
I'm,
complicated issue. So keep these questions coming, even if you're asked, somebody's asked it 5 times already. Keep them coming because
okay,
it's not an easy subject.
because I think I talked to you personally about this probably 6+ months ago, the whole
Mhm.
deal. Um, so we occasionally donate um donate private donated food to Church A. Church A is just the church down the street that feeds their members, their
Mhm.
community members. They're not a food bank. The church is not associated with the food bank at all.
Okay. I think
So
the rule of thumb is
they wouldn't be on the list.
they're not going to be on the list. Rule of thumb is if you report the pounds to us, then they need to be on the list if you're sharing it. If you're not reporting the pounds to us, then it's not considered our food. And we don't have any say over it.
We report all our food.
Hmm?
We report all of our food. Period. All
Yeah,
food that comes in is recorded. But the
it's
the the
tech,
church
as
the
soon as you're
church
reporting those pounds, it's technically food bank food. So if the intention is that you're sharing, maybe when somebody's donating, have them, instead of giving it to you, give it to that local church.
Well, no, I'm saying is the question is I'm sharing with the local church, and the local church doesn't have anything to do with Feeding
Right,
America.
right. And that's not going to be allowable. I think a workaround would be is if somebody came in and used the pantry and then decided to share their groceries that they receive from the pantry to that church.
Mm.
But because we don't have any oversight onto how that food's being stored at the church, how it's being distributed, if the distribution is in a way that is within the parameters of like civil rights, as well as how is it being transported, if it's perishable product. We can't control that because they're not a food bank partner. Which is why the decision was made that only food bank partners can be part of this redistribution or sub-distribution of product. And we can
I
talk
understood
offline a little bit more to,
I I understood it to be that you only had to sign the paperwork receiving and sharing with food within food bank entities. If you weren't a food bank entity, you weren't in the equation at all.
If they're not a food bank entity, they can't receive food from a food bank partner. Which is why this was getting so convoluted and complicated, because many of our partners have these relationships within their communities with non-food bank partners, and they were sharing, and that just can't continue to happen.
Okay.
Yes.
So I either have to tell this church, stop coming to us once a month and feeding 30 people once a week, and stop feeding 30 people once a week. We can't support you anymore.
I think we can take this conversation a little bit further offline and try to come up with a workable solution so that, one, you remain compliant and we remain compliant, but also find a solution so that the church can continue to provide meals for those 30 individuals. So let's set up some time, Patrick.
Can I put every organization on my I just put every organization on my paper and sign it, so I don't have to worry about who I give it to and who I don't give it to. I don't have to think about it.
And that's so how it works is the only people that you'll be able to share with are the food bank partners that have signed the addendum.
Okay, so there's some people here that aren't not going to sign it then.
Some of the organizations that you're currently sharing with.
No, the people on this webinar,
Everybody on
this-
this call are food bank partners.
so everybody has to sign it
Ideally, that is what I would like to have happen
if they share food.
so that they could share food and receive food.
So we don't. Okay, I mean, I understand the food safety part of it. I guess if I order a 50 pound bag of potatoes from the food bank,
Mm-hmm.
or let's say I order three 50 pound bags of potatoes, and after however many days, I'm like, geez, that was way too many potatoes. I'm gonna call up rural ministry and say, hey, you want a 50 pound bag of potatoes? Yeah, sure, come pick them up. Right?
Mm-hmm. And the only way it's going to happen is if TCRM also signs the addendum.
Okay.
So you have to ensure that whoever you're sharing with have also signed that addendum. And we've got time. It's gonna
So why
work.
don't we just make everybody sign the addendum to be part of the food bank? Everybody should just sign the addendum to be part of the food bank.
That is
Why wouldn't anybody sign it? Is I guess my question. Why would somebody not sign it?
and some folks have chosen, and I can't tell you their reasons, but they've got
Oh,
their reasons. So,
okay.
and since you all are partners of ours and you stand alone, you're autonomous, this is not a required program, but to be eligible to do this within the food bank contract, you must sign the addendum, but it's not a requirement to share.
So it can't be a requirement in 2026 then.
It's not a
When-
requirement to share or to receive shared product.
Okay.
So, yeah, I see your
I'm just-
point. I do see
I'm
your
just
point.
trying to make it easiest for everybody.
And I appreciate it. I really do.
If everybody signed it, then it wouldn't matter.
Mm-hmm. So I do see your point, Patrick. There's a question in the chat that's kind of piggybacking off of some of the things that you've been talking about, and I kind of want to get a little bit more detail. Zach, would you mind rephrasing this to me and be specific? Like, what do you mean sharing versus distribution? Are you talking about the church that Patrick was talking about? So since he's sharing with an entity and not an individual, that's why he's sub-distributing to a church so that they can then share and distribute to their congregation or their 30 people. And if each of those 30 individuals came to the pantry, that'd be different. But because he's giving it to another organization who is then going to distribute, that's what makes it sub-distribution. And that church is not a food bank partner. I hope that helped clarify a little bit, Zach. So Diane has a question. In the tracking list, what details need to be listed if it's 25 loaves of bread from different brands? That's a good question. I think you can put as much detail or as little detail that you're going to need. Let's say you get a donated load from Bimbo or somebody, someplace, not Bimbo. Bimbo does, it's not a good example, from Good Neighbors. And it's a variety of brands and types of bread. You can write assorted bread, but just be aware that if any recalls come through for bread, you should be reaching out to that agency saying, hey, we're not sure, but it's entirely possible that you received bread that was recalled in this assorted load. So I think that might be an option for like the assortments, if it's not all the same brand. What other questions?
I've got one.
Yes, Debbie.
So again, going back to the Salvation Army giving us sub-distributing to us
Yes.
their contracted food. Do we as the receiving entity need to fill out paperwork
You do not.
also?
No, you do not. The brunt of the admin work, the extra paperwork, is on the agency that is sharing and sub-distributing.
Okay.
The recipient agency does not have to do any paperwork, but you do have to ensure, if you are part of the transportation and the storage, that you're doing all of the things that's already in our contract.
Mm-hmm.
Good question.
Is Tops a partner?
They are.
Okay.
They are, sorry, let me rephrase that. Tops is a retail partner, not a partner agency or a partner organization.
But we can get stuff from them and write it as we report it on the.
You would get stuff from them as retail recovery and submit it through PWW.
Okay.
That is not part of this.
Okay.
It is a new process. It is a new requirement. I think we can give ourselves some grace that when this does go into effect on March 1st, you're not going to be, and you're found to be not tracking or sharing still with somebody that is not a food bank partner. We're not going to automatically suspend you. We're going to have that conversation and work with you to make sure that we can get you back into compliance. But it is going to be necessary that we are only sharing within our network. Any other questions? All right. Okay. So I appreciate all of the hard questions and putting me on the spot. I love it. Keep it going. Patrick, I really do want to connect with you offline. Let's rumble this out a little and lay it all out and do what we need to do to make sure that everybody is getting access to food, but in a way that is compliant with our contracts. And we have some time, but please don't wait to submit the form. Get it in. I'm going to work through my list and invite you to collaborate, which is to sign that addendum. And you will eventually start seeing more names get put on it. We will make sure that we share where it's going to be on our website. Nothing has to change yet until March 1st, but it's always a good habit to start the process of making sure you're only sharing with food bank partners now. But again, we're not going to start that enforcement until 2026. I appreciate all of your time and your consideration and your really, really good questions. If anybody has any other questions that pop up later, shoot us a message and we'll happily share that back out. Thanks again, and I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.